Gentlemen, welcome back to the game. Last we left off, we had stumbled into war, and we had pretty much slipped straight back out of it. And now we are sort of left to play to our own devices. So we are going to look at our monthly balance and quietly shit ourselves. Let me just take a look. Everything is back in Northern Europe. Everything we care about. What can we save? We have to keep building these. We could possibly pause our battleships. Here we go. So we've completed the mission. So at this point, the game doesn't care if we pause or stop construction or we scrap half of them. The Germans are interested in buying damage control. May as well make a little bit of money out of it before they steal it. We have developed a periscope for submarines. Now they can see where they're going. Japan is stealing secrets from us. So, build requirements, none. That means that the game has registered that we've started building 10 cruisers, and the politicians have now looked away. Mission accomplished. We have enough money in the bank to keep this bit going for a while. I'm hoping once we get the battleships out of the way, that will stop the bleeding significantly. Austria-Hungary. We could bully Austria-Hungary. The problem is Austria-Hungary just really isn't quite a threat to anyone. At least for now. Just what do the Austro-Hungarians have? Are they still using the Kaiser class? Oh, they have built a new one. What do we know about that one? This is almost a proper battleship. It is over 10,000 tons. It still is undergunned. It still is too slow, and it still is not well armored. But it is indeed starting to resemble a battleship. Well done, Austria-Hungary. The problem is, I don't believe Austria-Hungary has anything that is of benefit to us. That would be they would love that, but we would gain very, very little. Yep. Pneumatic recuperator, reliable pendulum mechanism. So our torpedoes have increased in range and speed, always good. More destroyers are being laid. I suspect because we have built so many destroyers, everyone else has started sort of wondering, what do the French know that we don't? Of course, they don't know that our politicians are very, very undereducated on naval matters and insist on poking their noses in. Oh, here we are. The Prime Minister wants battleships to increase our national prestige. He wants you to build at least 3 more battleships. Very well. Must have 3 battleships being built. So, what can we do? We may see what we can build, if we can build anything that is new. We could build a 14-inch gun monster. We could do that. We have docks big enough for it. It will be expensive, however. I'm not enjoying the idea of having 14-inch guns on something that only has 9.5 inches of armor. Uh, 10 inches is acceptable. Just how resistant are you to your own shells? Pretty resistant, at least in this era. I would like to give you 120 shells. We will go up to 8 and drop the number down to 4, and I believe we can only fit single turrets. Ship is overgunned. 17,000. Well, we can go up to 17,000. We will put some 5-inch guns. 5-inch guns in casemates. There we go. So, yes, this isn't going to set off alarm bells around the world at all. I see no reason to give the rest of the world absolute fucking conniptions that this is being built in a French port. Surely they will have nothing to complain about. Oh, cancel. We want to check if this is okay. Yes, this appears to be alright. I'm happy with this. We will take one. Still have plenty of cash. An uprising China. We should take part in a multinational force. More battleships being laid down. Oh, America is building a lot more battleships. Interesting. In fact, we should check who's building what. Guns 12 inches. So 12 inches is still the standard. Apparently 18 knots is quite fast. Guns 12 inches. Oh, the British may not be happy when we build that new line of battleship. In fact, perhaps building that ship may have been a mistake, but we'll see what sort of arms race we can start. Great Britain has just arrived on a goodwill visit. It certainly is a nice ship, but ours are just as good. And we are starting to get these battleships out of the way. Go to build screen. We would like one of this new battleship. Prepare the arms race. Great Britain especially doesn't like anyone else building newer battleships, because that means that they would have to replace all their old battleships. So they are not terribly happy when something like that comes along. Excellent. We get slightly more money. Side drums. We will sell them side drums. That is one extra month of operating cost for us at the moment. Build the expected number of battleships. We did have... oh, and we have just unlocked central firing, which means that the entire French fleet is going to have to go back into refit to receive that particular upgrade. Oh, they still haven't unlocked quality control. And we have some money stripped from us. I will not comment on policy issues. Since the Prime Minister has demanded more battleships and was not happy with the ones he received. Dominican Republic. Yep, we managed to stop the Americans from gaining a new colony. Diving planes. So our submarines should be better. Maybe after we go get out of the shipbuilding craze, I will build more submarines. Yep. So we have finished a lot of our light cruisers. Finished more light cruisers. Ooh, here we go. It's now asking if we would like to send a force to the Dominican Republic. I will say no. The Dominican Republic. I mean, we could send something there, but to be frank, if I did have anything I would like in the Caribbean, it might be the Virgin Islands. I don't really want the Dominican Republic. That is just a little bit too busy. By all means, we are telling the Germans how to use submarines. Excellent. So a lot of those heavy cruisers have finished working up. Yes. Add the best fire control you can. Ramillies. 10-inch guns. Interesting, the British are still using these relatively cheap battleships. It's not slow. It is not slow, however, but it is rather unusual. Improved weight savings on turrets. Well, that will help when we have a lot of turrets, I guess. Defensive minefields. So defensive minefields are minefields that are placed around your port. They won't do a lot, but it will prevent enemies from entering the port straight after you. I am going to start taking ships out. So we'll go open design for rebuild. We want to put central firing on you. That is 10 tons. I don't believe it's worth taking her out to put a new engine in. We don't have any new guns. So this should be a quick refit. Only 4 months. What else does the magic arrow have to say? Nothing new. Cool. Begin building the 1905 refit. In fact, take a second one out, just so we can get through this in more than 5 years. Ooh. People are stealing things from us. We will try and get through most of this refitting business as fast as possible. Oops. Ah, that is another class. Open design for rebuild. So we don't have any new guns for her. This one was mostly, I believe, refinements in engine technology. Oh, and of course the addition of 8-inch turrets. Do we have new 8-inch guns? No, we do not. Okay. Yep. So the French fleet is going under a major... Not only is the French fleet building a new ship to dominate the seas, the French fleet is also undergoing a major modernization refit. The refit may be a little bit early. However, you know, before that fire control, we will do what is necessary. I will just check and see if we can put that new fire control on our heavy cruisers, which we can do. Can we build new 8-inch guns? No. Shame. I would like to start getting some quality 0 or even quality 1. Quality 1 is the maximum you can get unless you have a special a country special, which some places do. I believe there's one country that can get plus two on a certain kind of gun, but it's very rare. We'll see if we can start putting some on our light cruisers as well. Yes, we can. Excellent. Is there anything else we can do with our light cruisers? No. Yep, begin rebuilding. I don't believe we will be able to fit it to our destroyers, no. So destroyers for a long time will have local only, which means each gun crew will have its own gun director, and he'll be basically just sort of pointing and telling the guns what to shoot at. Which is why until destroyers start getting those fire control, you will mostly be using torpedoes. Basically, until destroyers start becoming big enough that they can be reliable gun platforms without shaking all over the place. 15-inch guns, bloody hell. France, start improving our guns instead of making new ones. How about that? So not only have we started the arms race, but we've also made our own guns obsolete. Ain't that a kicker? Oops. There we go. Oh. Start building our fleet up. Yep. Okay, so we can tell what sort of class it is with the class type, and we can see all of these ships are now the latest model. So we will go through and we will start rebuilding these ships. Now, refitting fire control is relatively cheap. You can also refit guns. Most of the time, unless you're cutting out an engine and putting a new one in, refit should be between 4 and 6 months. Sometimes they can take 12. Sometimes there really is no logic. Yeah, so these boats were released in 1904. In fact, some of them were made this year, and they're already requiring to be in refit. As you can see, it's almost before they're out of the slipways, they are requiring major upgrades. What will be the gist of our speech? We'll just give a general saber rattling speech. Now, if I was Britain in this particular period, and Germany and the USA and France had signed an alliance between themselves, I would be both furious and shitting myself. However, we will see how the game goes. The British do not appear to be interested in starting a fight with us, and I am not particularly interested in starting a fight with them. Yep, a whole bunch of ships coming in and out of port. We will give non-committal answers. Close development torpedo protection 2. Oh, so we have developed torpedo protection 1. What have we put on our newest ship then? Because I really like the idea of maybe I should have put bulged armor on. That might be the next refit. We may come back in a few years and do another refit of most of these ships. Yes, another refit. And you can get... you will get rebuilt to the current standard. Typically in this period, ships are actually all slightly different. They never come out of the dry dock all the same. Here we go. So we have just gotten torpedo protection 1. And cross-deck fire. So we haven't actually developed main battery wing turrets. So we have very limited use for cross-deck fire. Perhaps if we had a heavy cruiser that had wing turrets. A lot of our ships in dry dock right now. We will, however, probably start refitting these ships. They have just been built, and they are going straight back into the shipyards. Didn't I just see you last week? Like a Alfa Romero, they are going straight back into the yard. Oh, in 1906. So at least they were out for 1 year. In fact, in that 1 year, I haven't actually deployed them anywhere. So we may start shuffling them into different theatres as they come out of the yard again. Moments like this are why I hesitated so much on actually recording this game, because it is a lot of clicking, a lot of long-range planning, a lot of seeing timers. Here we go. The government is willing to, the US government is willing to sell us the right to 9-inch guns of the quality 0. I normally buy these just because it's one that, even though I don't use 9-inch guns anywhere, it's actually, no, I believe our heavy cruisers have 9-inch guns. 8 inches. Well, it is one less model for our scientists to have to worry about. So hopefully next time the scientists do upgrade a gun, it will be one that we actually want. Yes, complete it without best fire control. Now, I did have some people who wanted to be dwarfed into the game. I haven't done that quite yet, mostly because these ships will be in and out of service so fast, and this is not quite the era for dramatic action. So you will find we will be doing a lot of long-range planning. A lot of mucking about. Just trying to work out where the hell we sit on all this. So when you rebuild a ship, it ends up back in your home port, and we have to redeploy all of these light cruisers once more. So we will send this one to West Africa, and this one to the Indian Ocean. Oh, I already had a few in the Mediterranean, so they have already gone out there. Now I'm hoping we can take one of these Cosmos off. Just to do that, we will see. Okay, so we can take one off duty. Open it for a rebuild. Give it a central firing. And none of our other guns have been improved, and I'm not willing to take it out for a year to build a new engine just for perhaps 1 extra knot of speed. Austria-Hungary is holding international regatta and sail race. Our crew is the favourite to win. Go for the wind. Put the Austro-Hungarians in their place. 700 tons. I don't know what I would do with 700 tons, but we can take a look. More light cruisers being dropped. In fact, we will take the opportunity just to improve a few bases, just here or there around the world. Oops, yep, I'd like to improve that. We would like to improve that, and we would like to improve Antilles, because I suspected that if there is a biff with the Americans, Antilles will become of some importance. We will build a 12-inch gun in both northern and southern France. Cool. Ship has trouble reaching her design speed. Well, poo. So our unrest level has gone down. That might be partly because of our prestige, but to get the last of the unrest going, we will try and do some social reforms. So unrest makes it a lot more difficult to produce new ships, and you can have the government get overturned, lose wars from it, and perhaps get a change of government. I believe it is a game over if you have a change of government, however. We will build more docks as well. We are going to need exceptionally large docks to make something bigger than the Yamato. So we will better get started on that early. Coastal submarine. Better operating range on coastal submarines. In fact, I did say that we would build some new coastal submarines, so we'll build another group of 10, and I will keep the old ones online just so you can see the difference in a couple of years will make to the reliability. It should be up about 55%. Cosmo has finished her reconstruction, so we can take her and put her back on foreign station, take out one of her sisters, and put her into dry dock. Somehow France has become a technological leader. Normally at this case I would be buying... Ooh. USA, dirty dogs. Dirty, dirty dogs. I am severely disappointed. Yeah, so you can revoke the alliance. That's why I have set my own intelligence effort on the US and Germany to none instead of low. Low is low risk, but we are unlikely to get much intelligence. However, at the same time, we are unlikely to get much in the way of angry letters in the mail. Maybe take out Q and put in P instead. So this is starting to look like a destroyer. Cramped accommodation. So the difference between cramped and normal accommodation is that cramped accommodation, the ship will not be able to redeploy to new theatres. The same goes for short range. So during peacetime, the ship will be able to hop along to neutral ports and eventually make its way to where we're going. During wartime, it will not be able to stop at neutral ports, and therefore just does not have the range to actually get anywhere. But you can see there were factors that we could have put more guns, quite a few more guns, and an extra knot of speed if we had kept to short range and cramped accommodations. But that is not what the French Navy is for. The French Navy is for going out and finding the enemy, not hiding in port. So this is starting to look like a modern destroyer. The armament is still incredibly light. In fact, if we do refit these later on, it will probably be just to fit them with anti-submarine gear and have them on patrol duties and not in actual combat. We will build 8 of them. Please don't agree to anything. Yes. Now the game has a terrible habit of putting in very, very severe, incredibly severe treaties if allowed to do so. I have had the case where it has banned anything above 18,000 tons and more than 10. Oh, that is our time. 18,000 tons and more than 12-inch caliber guns. But, we will continue that topic next time. Ciao.